There were a lot of blue lights outside, so I thought I'd go and see what was happening. And I went over to the window over here, and I saw, down there, I saw the ambulance coming at great speed, and I heard a bang when it hit the sign that was there. And then he drove on, and I thought, what is this, driving an ambulance like that? Crashing it and just continuing? And it stands there, and I was thinking, what kind of driving is this?
All right, joining us now to discuss this incident, which looks like it could be yet another terrorist attack on European soil, is Gadi Adelman. Gadi is a counterterrorism expert. All right, Gadi, good to have you with us. Details aren't clear about this ambulance ramming attack, but it is a technique we've seen in terrorist attacks in the past. Again, I want to stress, we don't know the motive. We don't know if this is indeed a terrorist attack. But what is your read on what we know so far?
Well, a few things have come out since that report. According to the police, it was a 32-year-old Norwegian, and he's being charged, of course, with attempted murder. But all the reports out of Norway are saying that this man was a far-right neo-Nazi. Now, I saw the pictures, and you just had them briefly up on your screen, of his arrest, and he was wearing the uniform of a neo-Nazi. He had the army pants, the camo shirt, the black jacket, the shaved head. You know, whether or not and what his plan was is still to be determined. So to classify this as terrorism, it's a little premature.
Okay, but it does sound like it has the markings of a serious hate crime. And as we said, we're waiting to see how the story develops and get more details. Gadi, I want to focus on another Scandinavian country where there's been an increase in violence. In Sweden, there have been a number of explosions this year, and the number of attacks with explosive devices has in fact increased significantly. According to the latest official figures, up until July, there have been 120 bombings in Sweden. What is going on there, Gadi?
Well, you know, we need to understand that the rise of explosions in recent years in Sweden is predominantly related to conflicts between warring criminal gangs. Now, in the fall of 2018, just about a year ago, the government issued the first ever amnesty for explosives, which allowed people in possession of explosives to hand them over to the police with immunity. But also, what's really frightening, most of these explosions are due to hand grenades. And this year, there have been, just with hand grenades, 116 different explosions.
How are they getting their hands on hand grenades? I mean, how is it that hand grenades are so readily available for there to be 120 attacks so far this year? Well, up until July,
this is something that the government has to deal with. They're coming in from Yugoslavia.
So what are authorities trying to do about all of this, Gadi? How can this be tackled? Is it about better enforcement at borders, for example? How can this be stopped?
Well, before anything can be addressed, the Swedish government has to acknowledge the severity of this matter. And as the rise in violent crime in Sweden has gotten the attention more and more of the international media, the Swedish government responds by launching elaborate PR campaigns for foreign audiences that downplay it. And nothing's going to change if the government doesn't admit to the reality of what's going on.
Why do you think very quickly there's a reluctance to make that admission?
I think it's a lot of different reasons, not only for those people that live there, and unfortunately, they know the truth. But I think a big part of it is just tourism.